Ar ffin ddwyreiniol Parc Cenedlaethol Eryri, mae un o'r rhyfeddodau Cymru. Coedwig Gwydyr. Coedwig llawn harddwch a heddwch.
Changing seasons and the wildlife, the whole place is just quite amazing. It's a little gem.
Ardal I fentro a darganfod cyfrinachau.
A lot of people call it the Hidden Valley because they don't know about it as well.
Mae'n llawn cyffro. Mewn gwlad llawn hanes.
You know, some of the footpaths we walk are hundreds of years old. They were walked by miners and villagers and people going from place to place. When they're still there, you can find them.
Man lle roedd beirdd yn cerdded.
Taswn eisiau rhoi y goedwig mewn 3 gair, a rheini fydda antur, straeon a tymhora.
Mae Gwydyr wedi ei leoli yng nghanol pentrefi a threfi ac yn gartref I goedwigoedd, llwybrau ceffylau, caeau a llynoedd. Mae rhywbeth I bawb yma, ond mae mwy I goedwig Gwydyr. Croeso I goedwig y bobl. Mae chwareli, coedwigaeth a diwylliant I gyd wedi chwarae rôl sylweddol wrth wneud y goedwig yr hyn ydyw heddiw. Ar hyd ei oes, mae Sean Sheltinga wedi cael ei hudo gan dreftadaeth ddiwydiannol yr ardal.
The mines in the Gwydyr forest primarily were known as lead mines, but there was zinc associated with the lead as well. But there was also a content of silver, and we're standing just above a mine working known as the Klondike mine. The Klondike mine was initially the mill, and they brought the lead ore down here by means of a railway and an aerial ropeway, and they utilised the water power of Girionnes Lake to run this mill. And the significance of it really is that it was actually part of quite a large scam in the early 20th century. Joseph Aspinall was a fraudster. He took the mine on when it was lying derelict in 1919. And he stated that he was going to mine a large volume of pure silver that existed in the area, and he invited people from London to come up and see the workings of his mine, which he had sprayed with glue inside and sprinkled the walls of the tunnels with pure lead to make them shimmer and shine like solid silver. He conned these people out of about £200,000 in those days, and Joseph Aspinall was put in front of the court of the Old Bailey and was given a lengthy sentence coupled with hard labour. Probably the first hard labour he'd ever done. You know, the acoustics in the mine are particularly wonderful, and the miners, when they would finish their shift and were walking maybe a mile or a mile and a half out of the tunnels of the mine, would actually sing. And these were people who were involved with the male voice choir in Llanrwys to a large extent. You could see then why they would want to sing when they were in the mine, because the sound was just so fantastic.
Gyda diwedd y rhyfel byd cyntaf, roedd diwydiant chwareli yng nghoedwig Gwydyr drosodd.
But as the mines disappeared, then the buildings disappeared and they are now in ruins in the forest.
Roedd y wlad angen cynhyrchu coed ar frys, ac yn y 1920au cynnar sefydlwyd y Gomisiwn Goedwigaeth gan y Llywodraeth I helpu fodloni'r galw newydd. Gweithiodd George Pringle i'r Comisiwn am dros 50 mlynedd.
So the Commission came here and started planting in 1921. Its instructions to the Commission were to get a large reserve of timber on the ground as fast as possible, which meant the Commission had to acquire land. Good fertile land is far too expensive, and it would be a waste to use that for forestry. So they had to go for areas of poor land, heathland, bogs and so on. And Gwydyr Forest offered that sort of ground. There was a very large workforce. The forest was divided into 4 sections called beats, each beat managed by 1 or 2 foresters, supported by a foreman or a ganger, and had a workforce of round about 10 or 12 men.
Gyda thwf y goedwig, daeth yr angen am weithlu a sgiliau newydd. Roedd John Reid ymhlith y cyntaf I gael ei dderbyn I ysgol hyfforddiant coedwigwyr oedd wedi cael ei sefydlu yn Gwydyr.
My first impression was when I got off the train at Betws y Coed station and immediately there was this vista in front of me. I just couldn't believe it, and that first sight of Gwydyr Forest has remained with me for always. I'll never forget that day when I first arrived here. Well, the forestry school was pretty grim in many ways. Accommodation was very Spartan. We had to cut our own firewood. We were only allowed, I think, one bucket of coal a week, and the huts were so cold, there was no central heating there. And I'll always remember during one winter, I left my boots out by my bed, and in the morning the boots were frozen. Having said that, the good things outweighed those bad things because the comradeship was really very, very strong there. The Commission were desperate for foresters and only too keen to take people on. So it was a vast range of people, and that's what made up the school. So really we had to learn every part of forest life, which was very, very diverse. I think people had the impression that all we did was fell trees, but we had to do all aspects of forest life.
Gwydyr yn dod yn goedwig gynhyrchiol iawn. Roedd Bill Jones yn un o'r bobl oedd yn gyfrifol am wneud y goedwig yn haws ei chyrraedd.
I started off when I went on the roads department. I worked for about 12 years on the rock drilling, and we came here in the mid-60s, I would say, and it was known as the Golden Mile because the amount of time and money that was spent in going through it. And as you see, it's a massive piece of rock on both sides of the road. So we had to go right to the top and start drilling our way down. Drilling, blasting, bulldozing, drilling, blasting, bulldozing, and this went on for months and months until in the end we got through. It's strange, the place has changed a lot, and I haven't been back for quite a long time. When we were drilling it, it was just the naked rock, that's all we knew then. But I know up the top of this little knoll of rock here, we carved our names, so it'd be well worth having a look to see if we can see them. I remember years ago I could get up this quite quicker than I can now. I'm getting up there too. Right. Here we are. Here it is, yeah. Yeah, here it is, I found it. And as it happens, my name is right at the top here, W.T. Jones. And it's got the 29th of the 2nd, 1968. Isaac Hughes, he was one of the dozer men that somebody has put down there. D-O-Z-E-R, dozer men. But this was our floor then. We could walk onto here, we didn't have to climb like I did then. But we went down, as you see, about 20 metres or so after. The only thing, I was young then. I'm not so young now, but I'm not bad.
Dechreuodd berthynas agos ffurfio rhwng coedwigaeth ac amaethyddiaeth.
There was also a system known as forest workers' holdings. These were small holdings scattered throughout the forest. The advantage of that was that you had people around the forest ready to spot and report any problems, any difficulties that might arise. And what they were really looking for were forest fires, which we all dread.
If you've seen the fire, you had to blow the whistle and blow this bugle, and you had an armband.
The big danger, or the big loss, was in 1938, when over 500 acres went up in smoke in 3 fires. And at the largest of these, the fire actually jumped the lake.
And we were surrounded nearly by the fire. And they were very concerned about us. And all of a sudden, the weather changed, and the rain came and stopped the fire.
Dim ond un o nifer o heriau ar gyfer deiliaid bach newydd fel Harry a'i deulu yn yr ardal oedd tannau coedwig.
It was in a dreadful condition when we came here, and we started ploughing and reseeding it. Everything we had to do was by hand. And everything we used to produce, we used to eat, and we used to live off the land, and we used to use every bit of everything. Yeah. My father used to work full-time in the forest, and then we used to do the farm work in the morning or evening. When I was 10-year-old, I used to go out in the field before going to school to cut hay. with the sides. Well, my brother as well. And then after we come home from school, we used to go back to the field and cut more hay. We used to do everything with all this old, well, shank we used to call it. We thought the world of it. And my grandmother, oh, she was a keen singer. We were all like singing. We used to sing a lot. We got the organ out into the field and we all joined in to have a sing-song. Pity we didn't record it, and you know, it would have been very, very good, I think.
Mae gan Mary atgofion melys o'i phlentyndod yn tyfu fyny yng nghanol y goedwig, ond weithiau roedd bywyd yn galed.
This is the house where I lived in. It has changed a lot. We had 2 pigsties further along, which we kept the dogs in, and of course the outside toilet. There was no electricity here, and there was no water in the house as well. But we managed. Water was carried either from a stream at the back of the house, or there was a well as well that my father found, and we had water from there. My journey to school was 3 miles in all in the daytime walking to school. I'd start probably early in the morning and sometimes used to have to go on my own. You never met anybody on the way, and once you got to one of the gates on the way down, you would actually see the village, and I think, right, I haven't got long to go. But it's still the lovely valley that I remember. A lot of people call it the hidden valley because they don't know about it as well.
Y dyffryncudd hwn ar ardaloedd hardd o amgylch sy'n gwneud coedwig Gwydyr yn leoliad gwych ar gyfer ymwelwyr. Roedd yr ymwelwyr cynnar yn teithio ar y ffordd, rheilffordd ac hyd yn oed ar gychod i fwynhau atyniadau y goedwig fel y rhai yn Rhefryw.
Trefryw started growing really as a small Victorian resort, and a quay was built. Because there were wells in Trefryw. They are described as Roman wells, they may well be, but health-giving water, so the Victorians were very keen on coming up to the Trefryw wells, and paddle steamers would come up the Conway, which was then more navigable than it is now, to Trefryw. Visitors were brought up by paddle steamer, and lead ore and other produce, farming produce and slate, were sent down by barge.
Mae Gwydyr wedi bod yn le arbennig I feirdd erioed. Mi fagwyd Myrddin ap Dafydd yn Llanrwst a mae dal yn cael ei ddylanwadu yn yr ardal.
Cofeb Taliesin di hon tu ôl mi fan hyn. Cofeb I gofio bod y bardd Taliesin o'r 6eg ganrif wedi cael ei eni yma yn ôl chwedl. Ac mi roedd yna griw o feirdd o Ddyffryn Conwy, Gwilym Cowlyd ac eraill yn cynnal steddfod arwest yma o canol yr ganrif o'r blaen 1861 ymlaen. Rhyw fath o rebel steddfod oedd hon, steddfod Gymraeg yn yr awyr agored yn hytrach na'r steddfod Victorianaidd oedd yn Saesnig oedd yn cael ei chynnal adeg hynny. A hon yn y bon sydd wedi ennill, dyma yn steddfod genedlaethol ni heddiw.
Hen wraig a wyn o Gwydyr. Daw dial wyn o Gwydyr am ddwyn fy mwthyn gwyn. Y dydd bydd carw ar lawnt dy blas dy ddiwedd di fydd hyn.
Hon di yr hen garreg oedd yn sefyll ar y gofeb, nath I ddisgyn rhyw 20 mlynedd yn ôl. Ac ar y garreg yma, mae'r enwa llawer iawn o'r bobl ar beirdd oedd yn dŵad i'r arwest, Eryr Alwen, enw barddol 1899 fan hyn. Ac ymysg yr holl enwa, yma yna un yn dod o'r arwest gyntaf un, Morris 1861.
Mae Fiona yn storiwr sydd wrth ei bodd yn adrodd chwedlau am goedwig Gwydyr.
The forest is full of stories wherever you go. Down there where the river Lligwy runs is where the terrible Afanc, the water beast, had to be lured from the water and dragged away by the great hero Hugh Gadarn, Hugh the Mighty. And up above is where Dafydd ap Shenkin had his lair, while he and the outlaws sheltered in the forest, the deer of the forest cropped and grazed in the square of Llanrwst itself.
Y dyddiau hyn, Llanrwst yw'r man cychwyn ar gyfer amrywiaeth o anturiaethau gwbl wahanol. Mae'r llynnoedd ar afonydd yn darparu cefndir gwych ar gyfer amryw o weithgareddau, ac mae rhai mannau perffaith ar gyfer pysgota. Mae llwybrau beiciau yn gwau ei ffordd drwy'r goedwig, gan gynnwys llwybr heriol Marin, 25 km o lwybr coch yn dringo i dros 800 medr. Mae marchogion yn mwynhau yr ardaloedd agored. Mae llwybrau a thracau traddodiadol y chwarelwyr yn ei gwneud i'n hawdd i ymwelwyr heddiw werthfarogi y tirwedd syfrdanol, ynghyd â llawer o lwybrau sefydlog y goedwig. Dros y canrifoedd mae'r tirwedd gyfnewidiol wedi darparu gwaith, cysgod ac ysbrydoliaeth i ymwelwyr ac i'r trigolion lleol. Dyma pam fod coedwig Gwydyr wastad wedi bod ac yn dal i fod yn goedwig y bobl.